Okay, we're back for real now, and we have our first match. It is Beastyqt versus Siglave, and we're going to be on Frozen Temple. So we're getting into it right now. Zerg versus Terran. So, crap. Bam! No one wants to see my face. No one wants to see that. Up here in the top left-hand corner of our map, we have the yellow Terran player. For Team Extreme Supremacy, it is Beastyqt. And in the bottom right, our blue Zerg player, it is Siglave. So we shall see what these two players have in store for us. Starting out with what looks to be a Reaper build, judging by that gas timing and just by, you know, what the meta is in general. These Reaper builds, so common. And, you know, just they offer so much utility. With Siglave going for that also standard hatch gas pool. Not going for too greedy of a pool, so there will be lings out in time to counter this, but is that is a third Rax, and we're likely going to see some extra gas coming down soon for those additional Reapers. And Beastyqt, a lover of the 3 Rax Reaper. But yeah, I believe, yeah, gonna have to take that gas right now because Reapers are quite gas intensive. That's why prioritizing the gas almost over the orbital command, and we all know how good orbital commands are. So Siglave will have lings for the first Reaper, but the question is, will he be prepared for the additional ones? You're going to see the first one coming across the map, but with this Overlord Scout position, it's not going to have a chance of seeing the additional barracks. Now, he should have a feeling of the fact that there are multiple barracks making Reapers, judging by the timing of the second one. You have to be kind of observant to notice that, because the timing wasn't too far off. It was just a few seconds early. And doesn't see the third one, so that's a pretty big piece of information that he's missing. So what is the response? We got speed, we have extra queens. And with ling speed, you can hold this, but it requires very good control, and it almost requires your Terran opponent to not play as optimally as possible. Nice use of those Reaper grenades, as well as just the pulling back micro. Oh, and that queen is quite exposed. It's likely going to go down here. First queen does go down. And losing queens at this point is really not what you want to happen. The queens are the units that you can increment out and then get an advantage there. But Beastyqt does lose one of the Reapers, so that's not a completely completely efficient trade there. Now, nice move from Siglave here, actually sending lings across to do a counterattack. I don't believe there's going to be much at home to defend against it. There will be a wall, but that's about it. Wall and reinforcing Reapers. Still pretty nice control on these Reapers, losing that one. You gotta be careful when sending out these grenades as well, because if you're not careful, you can actually have lings jump over the walls. Nice defense though, pulling those workers right on time. These Lings are going to try and get on top of the Reapers, but they do have a cliff to jump up. Actually, they don't even need to. They just send out that grenade. So at this point, I believe Siglave has held. Yeah, Siglave has held. We have a fairly even worker supply, but Beastyqt is just continuing to put on this pressure, getting a bunch of infrastructure up, and also getting a second and third CC. So using these Reapers to gain map control and transitioning out of it. Nice move overall, but not going to be able to crack this Zerg net. The issue for Siglave now is that the Terran third CC is going to get landed before the third of the Zerg, which means that you know, you triple mules against not third base Zerg is a pretty difficult position to be in. You know, what is the transition for Siglave? Is it going to, like, it looks like we do have the +1 range, or the 1/1, and going into the lair as well. So we could have something like a speed roach plus Ravager timing, or this also could just be Siglave's attempt to continue to tech up and just go for that macro game. The Overlord Scout did come in, and what did it see? It sees a lot of the production. Notably, a lot of the non-3 racks production. So, Siglave has a pretty good understanding of what's going on here. A nice thing for Beastyqt, though, is that he has been able to keep most of these Reapers alive the whole game, so they're constantly a threat. You can't really leave your base knowing that this many Reapers are on the map, because if these get into a mineral line, it's just dead. There's just no chance. Absolutely no chance. We do see that Siglave has droned up this third base, but I believe from here we are going to be going into a timing push. There's been no additional gas taken at the main, so yeah, I do believe we're going to just get a bunch of units pumped out very shortly. Nice trap on these Reapers, though. A lot of them are going to go down, but it's also just buying time for this Bioforce to push up this ramp. And once you get up this ramp, your push is a lot safer. Siglave gonna push this attack back. Where did the Reapers go in the main? I believe they must have gotten cleaned up. No more Reapers on the map, right? No more Reapers on the map. So overall, a very good defense from Siglave. I'm going to try and go for a counterattack here, but at the same time re-droning and getting that +2/+2. So not really a committed attack. Oh, and also taking this fourth base. So yeah, Siglave is really opting to play the macro game here. And we'll see if, at this point, Beastyqt can start to dominate the air with these drops. Siglave has not planted a Spire. Doesn't really have that many Queens out on the map. Like, how many Queens are there? There are 6, but 4 bases, so you really only have, you know, 2 additional Queens out to help with defending drops and stuff. And, you know, Roach Ling Ravager is really not a very good anti-drop deck. Beastyqt not able to get a cancel on that base, and now these Queens are very exposed. Got to pull those back. 2 of them go down without really getting anything done, and another drop going down in the main. Gonna snipe off a few Roaches, and then probably just pick up down either here. Oh, getting a Queen as well. Lots of damage done with this small forest bio. Oh, infestors, will they get the fungal? Do they not have energy? I believe they could have landed it, but Beastyqt does get out of there. Don't want to push your luck though. Oh, but gonna at least try and get an infestor. Does get one of them. Okay, so that's a nice pickup. That drop was definitely worth, you know, worth its cost, especially if these two medevacs even get out of here. So it looks like at least one of them will. Yeah, just one of them. I see Beastyqt didn't even really expect it to be alive still, though. Just sort of left it to die. Siglave has a fairly big army advantage, but it's also quite low tech, although it will just absolutely crush through this force. So Beastyqt is going to have to move out of here. Liberator's not in a good position for dealing with that attack. Came from the behind flank, which did mean that they did almost no damage, got sniped by a few Ravager Biles. And now I'd say Siglave's in a really strong position here. 199 supply to 130. If you look at just pure army supply, it's 130 to 69. And like I said, the tech of this army is not very high, but the fact that he was able to pick off a few of those Liberators and a few of those tanks in the last fight meant that the tech advantage for Beastyqt isn't nearly as strong. Beastyqt is doing a really nice job of keeping Siglave occupied, though. Because in a full frontal attack, I don't think that Beastyqt can hold this. But if he can buy time and also just get a bunch of free tank shots off, then he can leverage that tech advantage. I'm not sure how I feel about this attack from Siglave, trying to shave off some of those tech buildings and infrastructure, but losing a lot of army supply to do so. Now, this fourth base position is fairly exposed, but because it is a planetary, it should be somewhat easy to hold. Not ideal, but it's a pretty good position here. And the nice thing for Beastyqt is it is a forward base, which means that attacking and doing these drops will help to defend it, because you're always rallying past your expansion. Whether it be down the center aisle or across the side, which generally at this point in the game is going to be across the side. Going up this ramp, especially with creep on it, is a very dangerous proposition. Now it appears that Siglave is looking to tech out of this Roach Ravager Infestor composition, but and is getting the Ultralisk Den, but doesn't have any of the melee upgrades. So that could be a bit of an issue. You're gonna have to start to get those immediately. But here comes the attack here. Fungals do go down on the tanks and the Bio. Ravager Shot's gonna capitalize on that lack of movement. I'm just gonna try and crush through here. The tank line of Beastyqt in the back is pretty strong, but it's not enough. So Siglave is just going to push on top of this planetary fortress, going to try and land a few vials on that tank line, and that does a lot of damage. No more fungals left to deal with those SCVs repairing, but Corrosive Bile can help with it, taking out a lot of them. If you look at the worker supply, 65 to 44. Surprised to see that we still don't have that melee upgrade since the Ultralisk Den is now finished. And chitinous plating hasn't actually started either. And actually, Beastyqt is completely prepared for the Ultralisk switch as well, already having Ghost out to deal with that. That snipe doing so much damage against bio units, particularly the large ones like Ultralisks. A big moment in this game is going to be when Beastyqt's 3-3 bio upgrades kick in, because that will be the point where he can really start being aggressive on the map again, equalizing things with upgrades and trying to do some economic damage before Siglave does the full switch into Ultralisk. Like we said, having those ghosts already out and ready is really helpful for that. Smartly focusing down the gas first, because that is such an important resource for the Ultralisk going player. But a bit of miss micro there. Could have gotten the hatch, could have gotten the gas, or could have gotten some Roach Ravager, but actually just did a bit of each and didn't really get any. I love this drop play though, having the Liberators to support it. Really strong move there. Make it very difficult for these low range units to actually get in and do damage. And one thing I'm wondering is, do we have the Liberator range? We do not yet have advanced ballistics. That is something that I thought we would have seen earlier, but I suppose Beastyqt just doesn't yet have that. Oh, these drops look a little doomed, although there are no infestors here. No infestors means that this is, you know, that could reasonably escape. If there were infestors there, there was no way that these medevacs were getting out alive. Nice little drop here too to take out that 4th base position. Yeah, let's double check. I'm pretty sure there is no fusion core anywhere. So without that advanced ballistics, Liberators won't be quite as effective as they could be. Oh, but nice spot from Siglave. Gonna take out, force this base to lift at least. Probably not gonna actually take it out. The bio here, trying to deal with this Roach Ravager. Ghosts getting their snipes off, and actually SCV's doing as much repair on that Planetary as possible. Planetary did a lot of damage before going down. And I believe that was a bit of an overextension from Siglave. You know, the supply advantage is totally gone. Beastyqt now having the advantage in both workers and army supply. So really turning this game around. And Siglave has just, you know, regardless of getting that Ultralisk Den, has stayed committed. Did the Ultralisk Den get cancelled? Did he get killed? Maybe? I didn't see what happened there. Okay, so there is no... Oh no, there is. It just hasn't actually been doing anything. Siglave hasn't had the money to actually make use of having that tech. And a lot of that does come down to the economic punishing that Beastyqt's been able to do in this game. Pushing Siglave down to 29 workers. Nice bio hits to take out one of those Liberators, but it is just not enough. There is too much bio here. And that is GG. So, game 1 goes to Beastyqt. We'll be going on to game 2 very shortly. Anyway, so yeah, we'll be going into game 2 very shortly. And I believe we might be joined by a friendly co-caster. So that will be cool. Let's just get in this game. So our next map is going to be Galactic Process, one of our new maps, one of our interesting maps. Okay, so yes, we will be joined by a friendly co-caster, Dave Steadfast Loose. And yeah, it shall be awesome when he is here, because talking to yourself for 3 or 4 hours gets a little tiresome. Okay, we're ready. Going into game 2, Galactic Process, Beastyqt versus Siglave, Zerg versus Terran. And up here in the top, we have our first player in the yellow, the Terran, Team Extreme Supremacy's Beastyqt. And in the bottom left, we have our blue Zerg player for Esprit Gaming, I believe. I'll have to double check that. It is Siglave. So we'll see if Beastyqt goes for that type of 3 racks Reaper again. I kind of don't think you go for that 2 games in a row, but we shall see. Sometimes that's what your opponent least expects. The second cheese of the exact same thing. But to be honest, with the amount of damage it did the last game, I wouldn't be too surprised if he tried it again. And it looks like that might actually be it. We'll see if there's a third Rax and then a second gas taken. But there is the first Reaper. Let's see about the third Rax. I mean, you can go for just 2 Rax Reaper pressure, but I feel like most of the time you either go all out or you don't at all. I guess it's just 2. I guess it is just 2. Yep, 2 Rax Reaper with a CC behind it. So this could be a bit of a mind game. It could be a bit of a mind game for Beastyqt, trying to make Siglave think that he's going for the same 3 Rax Reaper cheese, when instead he's going to have a lot stronger of an economy behind it. We shall see. And actually, now that I think about it, I really like the positioning of the second barracks, not only because it's less likely to be scouted, but also because because it's slightly further back than the first racks, it actually gives the illusion of the Reapers coming out from the same racks, right? If you see the second Reaper, because of the delay of it walking over, you could think that it's just one barracks making the second Reaper. So, cute play there. And then Beastyqt getting a third base behind it, so really macroing hard with this. Playing the mind games super hard. And at this point, like, Siglave is just really preparing for the Mass Reaper shenanigans, getting extra queens, getting a lot of lings, and all of these lings could have been drones. You know, there are a decent amount of Reapers on the map, but you know, after the first, I believe, 6, after the first 5 has just transitioned into making tech labs, and then macroing up, or tech lab and a reactor, macroing up, getting that third CC. Now the issue with this is there's going to be nothing to defend this link counterattack. You need to close the door. Door is not closed. Closed too late. So now these lings are on top of the SCVs. They're going to start doing so much damage here. A lot of SCVs going down. And now Siglave has a 12 worker advantage. Reaper's going home to help defend this. But the lings are going to get there first, and they might even be able to intercept these. Okay, they do get the interception, but the Reapers escape as well. And now, because of that slight delay, the lings will not be able to get in and do any more damage to the main base. But, I mean, the damage has kind of been done. That was a big economic lead that Siglave just got there. Nice Reaper control from Beastyqt. And a bit of miss micro from Siglave, but not too impactful. Overall, Siglave in a great position in this matchup, taking that third base. Still going to be a little behind Beastyqt's third CC, but that was a very greedy third CC timing. Okay, at this point, we are normalizing a bit to more of a standard game. Beastyqt doing some scout around with these Reapers, but still so far behind on his SCV count. Now, 8 roaches in production. Is this a response to something? Like, because we have no signs of Beastyqt being aggressive. It could just be safety roaches, but it's kind of looking like it's just going to be a lot. Yeah, just a lot of roaches built. Gonna start to apply some pressure, and I don't think there's a lair, right? No, so this is just gonna be a slow roach ravager push, and oh my god, so many more roaches in production. Probably going to be reinforcing this with lings once he starts moving out on the map, just because the reinforcement time of slow roaches is, well, you know, you may have guessed it, quite slow. And a bunch of ravagers for this. Now, Siglave doesn't really want to reveal all of these units, but the fact that Beastyqt is out on the map right now is not a great thing for him, because these two were both preparing for an attack, but Siglave has such a strong economy behind it. I'm going to try and delay as long as possible with this Bio and Reaper Force. Oh, and then really nice move, splitting off the Marines into the medevacs to pull back the army with these drops. It looks like Siglave's going to try and defend this just with the reinforcing roaches, but there just isn't enough stuff here to actually make this defense. Gonna push up into the natural base over here. Another drop going towards the third of Siglave. And gonna try and, oh, takes out a bunch of SCVs with that bile. one of the 3 medevacs has been defended against, but the other 2 are starting to do a lot of damage to this third base. I don't think it actually matters though, because Siglave is up on top of the production, landing biles, hitting some bio with it as well, and just trying to do as much damage as possible, focusing down that reactor to slow down the production of units. And I believe this is just too much Zerg. So much damage being done here, and being on top of the production is just the bane of Terran opponents, because they just can't get units out that don't die immediately. One Liberator does come out, and there actually aren't enough Ravagers to like take it out in one sweep. But overall, the game does go to Siglave. So we're going to game 3. Okay, so let's see. You know, I gotta say, I didn't quite expect this to be going to a game 3, but I'm glad it is. I'm glad it is, because it is a great matchup to start our whole tournament on. So our final map of the series is going to be New Gettysburg. One of, I think, the coolest maps that we got with the latest patch. So it should be really fun. All right, we're here. Ah, there we go. It is match point, and in the bottom left-hand corner of the map, we have our pink Terran player switching up his colors from yellow. It is Beastyqt. In the bottom right, our blue Zerg player. It is Siglave. So Siglave once again going for that hatch first, not playing around the Reaper build. But I mean, in this matchup, you kind of just have to go hatch first anyway. You just have to roll with it, because the advantages you lose by going for a pool first and being afraid of the Reapers, it's just too detrimental. And you know, our Zerg players have really they've really been able to find ways to defend against Mass Reaper while still going for that economic play. And we'll see. Okay, Beastyqt does not this time go for a third Reaper build. Instead, going for that reactor first. Potentially going to try and snipe this Overlord as it hovers near the natural. Two Marines that are out unexpectedly can really harm that Overlord. Actually, it will be going in a very nice line here, so this Overlord should be safe. We shall see though, and as soon as it sees the reactor, we're probably just gonna have a turnaround here. Let's see. Okay, reactor, and yep, just doing that turnaround, because it's not worth risking the Overlord to get that little bit more scouting information. And we're actually getting a second Rax and a factory with this, so you know the CC is landed. It's not a one base all in. but we could see some sort of aggressive opening. Possibly something like a marine tank push. The tank evacs very strong on any of these maps with a small I don't really want to call this, like, it's not a ramp, it's like just a small pathway, a bridge. You know, we've seen a lot of tank evac play on maps like Arena, and I imagine we can see the same type of thing on New Gettysburg. Siglave is actually being aggressive himself. Got a lot of wings out on the map already, and more just flooding across here. It is scouted by Beastyqt, so that's a nice bit of information. But the Baneling bust upcoming could do quite a bit of damage. 3 bunkers on the way, but will it be enough? Siglave will undoubtedly be able to force a lift on this CC. But the real question is if he can get into the main and do a bunch of damage. This wall is looking intense. Oh, and he doesn't get through before that factory is landed, which really is going to limit the surface area of the Lings. But they are in here. 1 bunker is finished. 2nd one finishes as well, but there are no more Marines. 1 Marine to go inside it. But this push is held. The Baneling bust is not successful. Does get a few, depots and some SCVs, but overall, this just is not the damage they wanted to get done. I don't know if I like the idea of doing another Baneling bust here, considering we have 2 buildings making a full wall that is a factory and a barracks with a freaking CC and 2 bunkers. Like, you don't try and bust this. There's no way you try and bust this. I think Siglave must just be here as, creating a presence. Is that not a full wall? I guess you can walk through there. Okay. But either way, okay. Is that another bunker? No, putting a depot behind it. Okay, yeah. So that will be absolutely airtight, because even if you do bust this 1 depot, you don't want to be running in single file into 2 bunkers. So the best thing Siglave can do at this point is just try and keep Beastyqt contained to 1 base, droning up really hard behind it actually. Got 40 drones to 24 SCVs. And one thing we do see is that Beastyqt is making a few liberators, as well as getting these drops out. So liberators will help to defend this ramp, and the drops are having a bit of difficulty with these air blockers, but they will get across to the main, although they are scouted by the Overlord. But what this really does, though, is give Beastyqt the space to reestablish that natural expansion. Okay, so the bunkers are salvaged, which means the Beastyqt is officially feeling safe to move out. Gonna try and reestablish this area. You're gonna want to take a 3rd at some point, or just go for like a two base kill move. Really abusing the slow speed of these Banelings off creep, killing all of them for I believe actually free. I don't think any Marines were lost in that engagement. So really nice micro on the part of Beastyqt, and exploiting the immobility of those Banelings. You know, the Liberators are set up freedom zones all over the place, and there's no good answer to them. There are no Ravagers on the map, there are no Spores down here, and not a bunch of Queens either. So this push from Beastyqt might just do too much damage here. One Queen gonna try and, you know, poke at this, but there's just not enough damage. Beastyqt is just gonna push on top of this and start taking out so many drones as they try and get into this corner. But the reinforcing units coming down the ramp get swatted by Liberators, and these Marines are just doing too much damage. And that is GG. So Beastyqt does take it and moves on to the next stage of the brackets.